You feel me? We doing it. Y'all been asking, y'all been requesting it. Vincent, when you starting a YouTube channel? Vincent, when you gonna do a YouTube channel about trading? Well, guess what? We here. The day has come to where I'm finally doing YouTube on trading, right? This channel gonna be everything trading, from, talking about different strategies, talking about the emotional side of it, giving out game, right? This where everything gonna be located at is right here, right? First video we got, right? I just want to let people know, right? What are the things that you even need to know before you start day trading, right? Because, personally me, when I started day trading, right, I didn't have a lot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have, the mentors, a person like me who've been in the game for a little bit. I didn't have other mentors who've been in the game, right? I had to find those people along the lines, right? After I took my losses, after I done went through my learning process, right? But we're just gonna give game on a couple things that I feel like you need to know before you get into this thing called trading, right? It's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money to make. It's a lot of whips to drive. It's a lot of shit to do. We're gonna go ahead and get into it though. I'm gonna catch y'all in a minute. All right, I'm sliding out the crib. Got a couple errands I gotta run and shit, but we're gonna go ahead and get into the video, right? What do you need to know before you start day trading, right? Before you start trading stocks, right? Me personally, what do I trade? I trade options, right? I trade S&P 500. I trade XPX, a little bit of NVIDIA, a little bit of, Google, Microsoft, there's a couple other stocks, a couple little low-key other stocks that I trade in there, but mainly I'm trading S&P 500, right? So what do you need to know before you start trading stocks? One of the things you want to ask yourself is, right, before you even place a trade, before you even learn what a chart is, you probably already know what a chart is why do I want to even start day trading, right? Because the vision has to be bigger than whatever obstacles you're going to incur. Because with doing anything, right, starting a new business, day trading, trying a new sport, trying to be successful at a new job, starting a new company, right, building a business. Shit, fucking need some water. Got my Celsius right here though. Building a business, right? It's all ups and downs, right? But their motivation, right, and the vision and the goals that you have for yourself, and the reason that you want to be successful in this thing we call day trading has to be, I'm sorry, but like the money is the focus. Don't get me wrong, but it has to be a little bit more about the money. Is it the money? Is it the freedom? Is it the being able to be, take care of your family whenever you need anything? Is it to help people, right? Is it what is this day trading thing that you're doing, right? What is the reason that you're doing it? And that's really one of the things that you have to ask yourself, right? Because once you know your why, you can build around your why, and then you can get started, right? Personally, me, I've been day trading for about 2 years. I started on options. I wasn't like a Forex guy who came over from the Forex side. I've been on the option side the whole time. I love it over here. The grass might be greener on the other side, but listen, I'm watering my plants. You feel me? I know everybody, well, you need to trade Forex, and listen. All my top step funded people out here, I salute to you, right? You know what I'm saying? But I just like how options move, right? That's what I do. But originally, I started off a little bit about my background. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, right? Born and raised, right? Went to college, University of Tennessee. Went for business. I played football. A lot of y'all know my past. Like, I played football a little bit. I was a D1 athlete in high school. Got 6 or 7 collegiate offers, to play D1 football. Turned that down. Knew I wanted to do something different. Have ownership for myself. Protect the brain. You feel what I'm saying? I just went a different route, and honestly, sitting here today, that was probably the best decision I could have did, right? Because now, I have ownership, right? I have freedom, financial freedom, right? I'm not tied down, right? I have no really obligations, right? Except to the obligations that I make for myself, right? So, I went to college, and college was cool. I really, I heard about trading a little bit, but I really didn't put my feet into it, right? I didn't really do too much with it, right? I was like, numbers on the chart, buy right here, and you telling me I can sell right here for this much, yeah, I think I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to go try to do something else. I was young, though. I was probably like 19. I'm 24 now. I was probably 19, 20 when I first got exposed to what trading was, right? And, during the pandemic, everybody was trading. And, back then it was Forex, right? It wasn't, nobody was really on options yet. It was just, trade Forex. I should have went the other way. Really didn't want to get on the interstate because it's going to be too windy. Y'all not going to be able to hear me. Gonna have to make a U-wee right here. Protect me, God. Ooh. V8 gonna do it. But at the same time, I thought I could learn quick, right? I thought I could pick it up in a week, and be good, right? And I placed my first trade, I think it was on the video. I made $80, right? Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what was going on. Placed my first trade, I made $80 in like 3 minutes, right? I think there was like a $500 trade. I made $80. And that $80 changed my life forever, right? How did that $80 change my first 80? And like all my mentors, my mentees, they'll know, like the people that I teach now, they'll know I tell this story to everybody. How did that first $80 change my life? That first $80 showed me that it was possible, right? Once I seen that first 80, I said, oh, okay, I made $80 off 500 with just a 40-cent move in a stock off the options. Okay, now I know if I leverage more, this 80 would be 800. That 800 could be 5,000, right? With the right amount of capital, with the right amount of knowledge, right? So I got my first little piece, right? And everybody knows when you get your first little piece, right? It feel good. It tastes good. You get confidence, right? You're like, oh shit, I done found me something. They don't know what the fuck going. They don't know what I'm finna do. I'm finna run up 100 in a month. Maybe not 100, but I'm gonna run up a 20 ball in a month. I'm finna flip my little bands. I'm finna run up a 20 in a month. I done figured it out. I'm calling my mama. I done figured it out, mama. We good. We straight. I'm printing. You know what I'm saying? I'm printing. And, come back in the market, a couple of days later maybe, I get into a trade and trade goes red, right? I'm like, hold on. Stock market's supposed to go up. Why is it going down? Why the stock market going down? Hold on. This thing's supposed to be going up all the time. What is what's going on? Right? I'm still in the position, right? I'm like, I think I have about a weekly contract. So y'all don't know what a weekly contract, I got 7 days to make money on this. Or 7 days to lose money on this, right? But I can close out at any time. I'm still in the position, still holding, still hoping that, it comes back. And, it didn't. I lost like $600-700 on that trade, right? Mind you, I made 80, right? Next trade, I lost $600 to $700. Why? Because I rushed the process. I didn't learn first. I didn't demo trade. I didn't figure out what a strategy was. I didn't understand the psychology behind trading, right? I just thought, oh, I made $80, I can do it again, right? Athlete mind don't make it in the market. It helps you, right? But you have to rewire your brain to think like a trader, not like an athlete, but like a trader. You think you always will be an athlete, right? But as you develop, right, you can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results. Athletes, right? You can do the same workout for a year, and get nowhere, right? That next workout, shit might pop out for you. You done did the same workout for 2 years, right? And then boom, you get a deal, you get an offer, you get, you know what I'm saying? So it's different with trading. When it don't work, when it keeps not working, right? That's feedback, that's data. You have to take that data and analyze it, change what you need to change, fix what you need to fix. But what you're doing right now is not working, right? And I was like, okay, cool. I lost my $600-700. I can get that back. Threw more money at it, right? I looked up more YouTube videos, right? None seemed to work. By the time I look up, I done lost $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in the market. Yeah, I made a little bit of money, but I lost a lot of money. And the name of the game in trading is to make a lot, lose a little, right? I was making little and losing a lot. You feel me? And that was just the beginning journey of my trading, right? So that's kind of how I got started. That's how I got my feet wet, right? You know. So that's that. And them losses hurt, right? And them losses hurt. And I'm not telling this story to discourage you from starting trading. I'm letting you know you need to do the right steps before you start trading. What I did not do is I did not do the steps before I started trading. So when I started trading, it didn't go the way that I wanted to go because I didn't do what I needed to do before I started moving capital in the market. The market is not after you, right? The money is not running from you, right? You have to have the knowledge to be able to execute. If you don't have the knowledge to be able to execute, you won't execute, or you'll execute poorly, right? You'll execute poorly. You'll do bad shit, get in bad trades, don't close out losing positions, chase moves, right? Get greedy, right? Freeze, right? You'll freeze up, right? Understand this. This one is really important. Understand this. If you want to make $1,000 a day in the market, right? You want to make $1,000 a day. You need to, or let's say you want to make $2,000 a day. Let's say you want to make $5,000 a day. Let's say you just want to make $400 or $500 a week. Let's just say you want to make $15,000 a month off the market, right? You have to be the person who is ready to receive a type of blessing like that, right? Let me tell you why. A lot of times you see people get money, and I have done this too because I'm talking from experience. You get money, right? You have a system that can create money, right? But you get money, right? And you get the money that you've been working for, right? Right? But you still end up back at zero. As a trader, that can be one of the most brutal feelings, and it can really eat at you, right? Because let's say you started your account off at 2K, and in a month you grew it to 6, right? And let's say next month you grew it to like 8K, 10K, right? Then all of a sudden, big loss wipes your account out 50%. You just let a month worth of trading go in 1 or 2 trades, or even 3 or 4 trades, right? Why? Because the universe always takes you to whatever level you're at. So if you feel like, hey, I'm worth $50,000 a year, and let's say somehow you get $100K this year, eventually you will fuck that up and be back at 50. Let's say you said, I'm $1 million man, I'm $1 million trader, I'm a 6-figure trader, I'm a 6-figure entrepreneur, I'm a 6-figure businessman. The universe is gonna work to attract what you think that you are, right? So if you think you're just getting lucky in the market, so like I said, like if you think you're just getting lucky in the market, camera had overheated. If you think you're just getting lucky in the market's just gonna show you, yeah, you is getting lucky. You really don't know how to trade, and it's gonna eat you up. You're gonna be up then down, up then down, up then down. You know? So that's number 2. You know, be ready to receive what you're working for. If you want to be a 6-figure trader, you want to make $1,000 every month, be able to receive that, right? Not only put the work in, but put the psychological work in. Know that you're able to receive that, right? A lot of traders self-sabotage themselves. That's why I tell you, it's easy to make the money, but it's harder to keep it. Why? Because we human. You know what I'm saying? Trading is about numbers. Yes, it's about up and down. Yes, it's about stock prices. Yes, it's fundamental. But it's also mental, right? And that's the key part. The numbers don't change. The stocks develop. Stocks go down, stocks go up. You know what I'm saying? You are that in-between factor between the money that you can pull out the stock market, right? You got to get up every day and hit buy and sell. right? The market gonna go up or down with or without you. You got to be able to, you know what I'm saying, go out there and make the right decisions, right? Execute. You know, you got to be able to execute. If you can't execute correctly, right, it's gonna be bad, right? It's gonna be bad, right? You're gonna end up making a lot of mistakes, right? And you know, and sometimes people got to make the mistakes so they can learn from it. You know, and I was one of them people, right? I had to make a few mistakes right before I caught on, and that's all right. And that's all right. Another thing I want to touch on, right? When you get into trading, don't strategy bounce. Don't strategy bounce. Find you one strategy that worked for you, that worked good enough for you to where you can read the market. You can read when it's time to get in the trade. You can read when it's time to exit the trade, and you can read with your strategy when it's time not to trade. When it's time to just sit on your hands. Right? Because a lot of times the job of a trader is to wait. It's to be patient. It's to be on the hunt. We don't do a lot, but when we move, we move. Right? We don't click a lot of buttons, but when we click, we click. Right? And we make a lot of money. Right? Because what do? Right? We execute. You're going to hear me saying that a lot on this channel. Execute. But, right, sometimes it's hard to execute when your strategy, per se, is it's all over the place, right? But yeah, like I tell people, just don't strategy hop. You know what I'm saying? Do what worked for you, right? Because what worked for you is going to be easier, right? Don't copy, you know what I'm saying, just because dude said he made however much money using whatever strategy. That don't mean you just go with his, right? Stick to what you know. And it's hard to do that in trading, right? Because it's a lot of them as deers and shit right there. Stay on. Deers got to stay on that side. You know, it's a lot of that in trading, right? Because everybody want to, you know, make the most, and, you know, it's competition, right? But and that's another thing to speak on, brother. Just compete with yourself. You might have a $500 account. That's okay. Grow your $500 account. Start making $50 a day, $70 a day, and then get up to you making $100 a day, right? Compound that, because your $500 account can become $5,000 quickly, a couple months. You can take that 5 to 10 in the next month, that 10 to 20 pretty quick, 20 to 40. Now you moving, 40 to 80. Yeah, now it's starting to open up, right? The more money you're able to get in the stock market, the more money you're able to make, right? More leverage, more profits, right? More leverage is also more risk, right? You know? So just stick to your strategy, because you step outside your strategy box, right? I call it, you step outside your lane, you might trip. And that's real shit. And this trader says you step outside your lane, you might trip and fall. You done blew your account. Now you can't trade. You stepped outside the lane. You stepped outside your box. Right? Trading ain't meant to be complicated. It's only complicated when you start complicating it. I promise. I done did some dumb shit when I first started trading, bro. That's why I can speak on it. All right? And even now, I still fight doing dumb shit, you know? But as I keep going, right, I get stronger, right? As I keep resisting, keep staying disciplined, right, it gets easier to do the right thing, right? It gets easier to be patient. It gets easier to you know, like I said, stay disciplined. It gets easier to, you know, stop listening to that other self that's not your higher self, right? You want to think with your highest self possible when you trade in these stocks, bro. And then also, you know, we get money. Enjoy this shit. You know, we get money. You making money in a couple minutes, right? Enjoy this shit. This is what it's all about. You know, making money in the markets, right? And somebody asked me, like, how long do it really take you to be ready to start trading capital?
With the information I'm going to provide, and I do provide, 90 days. But that's 90 days of consistency. That's 90 days in the market every single trading day. You're not going to be moving real money the first 90 days. You're not going to be moving real money the first 90 days. Why? That's your incubation period. That's your growth phase. That's your trial and error phase. Right? I tell anybody, you want to get into something like trading, lock in, learn the basics, demo trade, get your demo account up for 90 days. Prove it to yourself that you can do something for 60 to 90 days without receiving any gratification from it. Delayed gratification keeps you disciplined. If you can wait 90 days to make money while still learning the skill to make money, you'll be able to wait the first 15 minutes of market open to find an entry. You'll be able to wait the first 30 minutes, first hour, sit on your hands. You'll be able to wait the whole day until you find your setup, right? Same thing. Same thing when it comes to the 90 days. You're finding your setup. You're finding your strategy. You're seeing how your emotions is in trades. You're seeing how your brain operates, right? Because you don't know. You don't know how the emotional trader side of you or the trader side of you reacts to moving real capital. You don't know. So you have to see, right? Like I told you, I made the mistake of just being like, I got this shit. It cost me money. I had to pay a fee, right? Not literally, right? Not literally like I had to, they told me I had to pay a fee. Nah, I didn't have to pay no real fee. I had to pay tuition to the market. I took that L. I took that smackdown. You think you know what you're doing? Market gonna give you that smackdown, I promise. Smackdown, nigga. Smack. You know? So I say 90 days. I say 90 days of locking in, demo account, getting that up, seeing how you feel trading, getting your charts correct, making sure that you see the market correctly, right? 90 days, right? You see, I had some people send me some questions, so I'm trying to see what type of questions that they had. How do you know when not to trade? It's a good one. How do you know when not to trade? You know when not to trade when your indicators tell you not to trade, which is why we go back to the third or fourth thing that I hit on, which was stick to your strategy, because your strategy should tell you when not to trade. So that's simple. How do you know when not to trade? You know that from your strategy. You know that from your setup. If your setup's not there, it's not time to trade, right? If you can't read the market, it's not time to trade. If you don't know the direction of the market, it's not time to trade. If you feel nervous getting into the market, it's not time to trade, right? You should never feel nervous taking a trade. You should never be like if you're in a green trade, obviously you're happy you're in a green trade, right? Right? If you're in a red trade, you're obviously not too happy you're in a red trade, right? But what I mean by that is, in the sense of, right, when emotions are high on either side, right, decision making is not all the way dialed in like it should be. So when when you're feeling nervous and you butterflies in your stomach about a trade, you should maybe size down on that trade, because your emotions are too high, right? Any slight movement in the contract, right? You might be up, take profit too early. You might be down, you might cut it too early. You might be down, your emotions so high, you don't want to lose the trade. You might just let the trade just run all the way red, right? $1,000 trade, you'll let it run down, and you down 800, right? You should have cut that when you was down 2. Emotional trades, those will get you, right? So never trade when your emotions are high, right? So what tools do you need to actually start, right? You need a computer, you need Wi-Fi, you need, I use Webull. That's my broker, right? So Webull is my broker. TradingView, that's what I use to look at the charts, right? Those are the things that you're going to need to get started. Like I said, a computer, Wi-Fi, Webull, and TradingView. You can make money from anywhere in the world, no matter where you at, no matter where you seeing this video. If you got Webull, you got TradingView, and you got Wi-Fi and a little computer, you can print. That's all you need in your mind, right? So you need 5 things: Wi-Fi, computer, Webull, TradingView, in your mind, and you print. Somebody said, what is it? So somebody said, should beginners trade options, stocks, futures, or paper trade first? Paper trade first, right? Paper trade first. Why? Because trade options. I don't fuck with futures. You know what I'm saying? Not to talk shit about futures. It just don't make it don't make sense to me. The lot sizes and it just don't make sense. Like I said, what did I tell you? Stick to your strategy. Stick to what worked for you. Forex just don't work for me. Options do. So I would say start with options. Start paper trading on options, right? Buy a few contracts, right? See how they move. All right, somebody said, how many trades should a beginner take a day? 1 to 2 trades. That's the quickest way to kill your account, over trading. I promise you, over trading. Let's say you made it. Let's say you smacked on a trade. Let's say I made 1,000, right? I'm cool with that, right? Because I know what happens when you overtrade, right? You take losses, right? You'll start taking paper cuts, right? You might be up 1,000. You take a trade. It's an L trade. Now you're down 300. Now you only up 700 on a day. You want to get your 300 back so you can still break even at your 1,000 that you know what I'm saying, that you made. You go back in, lose another 300. Now you're down 350, right? And it just snowballs, right? So 1 to 2 trades, right? If you're profitable on that first trade and you like the profits that you got on that first trade, I'll be done for the day. Why not? But if you want to go back in for a second trade, go back in for a second trade, right? Make sure it's an A+ setup, of course. It's the only thing we taking. If you take a B setup, size down 50%, right? If your size was $500 on your trade, B setup $250 on that trade, right? It's a guess. You don't have conviction, right? You're not certain, right? But I say 1 or 2 trades a day. No more than that. You'll be good. Like, you'll be good with 1 or 2 a day. Why is psychology important in trading? So psychology is important in trading, right? Because the markets are behavior, right? When price gets too high, people feel like it's too high, so they sell it. If price gets sold off and they sell it too low, people feel like, oh, it's too low, so I'm gonna buy it, right? It's human behavior. But within that, money is human behavior. When you gain money, you are excited. When you lose money, you're not excited. You're mad. You're upset. You're in disbelief. You are you're regretting, right? A whole lot of emotions, right? Which all has to do with psychology, right? Right. So to be able to control your psychology as a trader, like I told you in the beginning of the video, that is the key to being a successful trader, because your psychology doesn't run the whole show, right? It doesn't tell you when to get in or get out of trades or stuff like that. No, but your psychology, right, allows you to do what you need to do without being under stress. Remember what I told you, stress is a high emotion, right? Greed is a high emotion, right? So when these emotions come, you don't make clear decisions, right? Psychology is important because you need to be able to make clear decisions, right? If you can't make clear decisions, you could be reading the market, right? You see everything. But there is something going on with your psyche that is not allowing you to execute correctly. Some of the best traders in the world, the JP Morgans, the traders that work for Citibank, BlackRock, Vanguard, all the big hedge funds, they literally have psychologists working in the trade building. to help these traders get their mind together, right? I deal with it. Other traders deal with it. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Because what we do, even though it's quick, you make money quick, right? It's a high stress skill, right? You're moving real capital, right? You got real, like, now me, I'm an independent trader, so it's, you know, this is what I do. Like, I'm a full-time trader, right? Like, you know, that's what I do. When you do this full-time, you don't want to lose money, right? Now, if you had a job, it's just a side hobby for you, you know, you lose a couple dollars, you'd be all right, right? You know, like, well, I'll just get it, right? Full-time trader, right? It's not how we think. Every day we have to go into the market and execute like our life depends on it. Because it does. Your execution, it does. Now, one off day that comes, that happens, right? That happens, right? But as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, your job, as a day trader, your job is to get up and execute and protect capital and maximize capital every single day, right? Every single day, Monday through Friday. Whenever the market's open, you're there to execute. The last one I got on this video, we got, what would you tell your younger self before I started trading? What would I tell my younger self before I started trading? It's a good one. I would tell my younger self to take your time, right? Don't rush. We got time. We got time to become wealthy, right? We got time to get rich, right? We got time to touch our first million. I don't gotta do it. I don't gotta do it next month. I could do it in 6 months. I could do it in 8. I can do it in a year, right? I would tell my younger self, take your time and learn, right? Soak up the knowledge, soak up the game, and then go out there and execute. I will also tell myself that you pick the right business to be in. People don't know this, but the stock market moves close to, what is it, $1.5 trillion a day or something? $1.5 trillion a day are growing through the market. Like I told you, I played football, right? I played ball, did that. You know, you got players making, you know, 23 million, 5 million, and, right? Should set you up nice, right? But it don't last forever, right? It's a skill that eventually goes away, correct? You just can't play forever, right? Knowing how to trade stocks, it's a different game. You could do this for the rest of your life. And me telling my younger self that's like me hearing I could be in the NFL for the rest of my life. I can sit right here and print money for the rest of my life from wherever I'm at. That's the type of thing that I'm talking about when it comes to trading. I could be 60 years old, sitting on my long-term portfolio. Maybe I'm buying long-term swings, you know, 3 or 4 trades a year, you know, just capitalizing on my money. You know, maybe get 10-15% of my money a year. You know, let the interest just let the interest pay for my lifestyle. That's what I'm on. So, hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is my version of what you need to know as a day trader, right? Before you get into day trading. Did a little introductory about myself, right? I'm gonna be having more videos coming, right? Probably gonna do a couple more videos this week. We're gonna get into some strategy. We're gonna get into some what you need to know. I'm gonna go through my full kind of Patreon, and you know that's another place where you can find us, right? I do daily stock watch list videos. Keep you updated on the market. I do those every day, so definitely get into the Patreon. Man, hope y'all enjoyed this video. I am on the way back to the penthouse, and we will be getting ready for another day in the market. Right? Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Peace.